Alright, if you subscribe on my email list, you know that there is a slight obsession with nutcrackers this year. I do not need to buy any more Christmas decorations in my house. I don't even have my stuff put up. It is like the rest of my house is a mess. The totes are all out from the basement and they're just everywhere. The kids keep asking, when are we gonna put the Christmas stuff up? And it's like, I don't know. So anyways, I accidentally kind of joined a Facebook group on Facebook that is Nutcracker Crazy, and they've kind of inspired me to make a gigantic nutcracker decoration out of no other than cookies. As you guys know, I am the cookie lady. So I have made this huge nutcracker here. It's a royal icing transfer, and so what I did was I just printed out a picture of a nutcracker, which I have here, and I actually made this nutcracker with ChatGPT. If you guys would like me to show you how I make designs on ChatGPT for like new cookie designs and stuff, let me know in the comments, and I would be glad to do a video on that if that's something you guys are interested in. So I did that. I just put it underneath this acetate sheet and then took my royal icing and piped on top of this. And so hopefully it's dry enough to transfer today. So the idea is that you can just transfer it onto a cookie. I'm going to be watercoloring this with some gel food coloring and water paintbrushes. But first, I'm going to get my big cookie ready, which is right here. I think this is probably the biggest cookie I've ever made. And I know it's not very pretty, but this was some old dough that I had in the freezer that I didn't want anybody to eat. And so I thought this was a good way to use it because this is not going to be eaten, it's going to be a decoration. And we'll get to that towards the end of the video about how we're going to preserve this. So what I'm going to do is I'm trying to decide which side I want to decorate.
I'm grabbing something.
Okay. But I'm going to roll out some rolled buttercream and decorate one side of it. I may do this side since it's kind of ugly and this side
Eye
is
protection.
better.
Because these are already broke at the top, so.
Okay.
And they're kind of big, so.
Smart thinking. So we're going to do that, and then these strips are going to be, oh shoot, yeah, I already knew that one was broke. I broke it out of the oven. Are going to be a border around here, so we're going to make like a picture with our nutcracker in it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to roll out buttercream for this big cookie and get it attached. So some of the supplies I'll be using is this rolling pin, which I love. I bought it off Amazon. Everything in my video is going to be linked down below, as well as my website if you want to check it out. If you want to get on my email list, I send out some useful emails and good information and whatnot. Go to my website, trendymint.com. Otherwise, we're going to get started. So we're going to be using this. I got parchment paper laid out to roll out my buttercream on. I'm going to be watercoloring the nutcracker, and I'm just going to use these AmeriColor food gels. And these little bottles get so yucky looking because, of course, I'm always cooking whenever I use them. So they get messy. I am like, I have potatoes boiling for potato salad. So I heard like a little noise and I'm like, how do they boil over because my pot is full. Can't get any fuller. since I'm doing like a little Christmas video today with the Nutcracker and everything, or my little Christmas bracelets, and I think this one on top is so cute. It's a snow globe, and then my ring I have on is a ruby because that's my birthstone. Anyways, all of my jewelry I'm wearing came from Bomb Party. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but it's like super popular on TikTok if you're on there. But people do these surprise jewelry reveals is what it is. You don't know what you're getting. And anyways, it's really fun. The girl I buy from, her name's Shauna. She's like awesome. And so I'm going to link her down below if you guys want to check her out. I've got to go turn these potatoes down and we're going to get started. I'm going to put you guys down. Lovely. My husband and daughter decided they're going to go cut wood outside. This thing is so hard to move. So you can probably hear a chainsaw in the background. And that's just how it is around here. Alright, I think that looks good. And I'm just hoping that I have enough rolled buttercream to cover this. It does go pretty far, so I'm hoping. What I'm going to do is, because I want my buttercream to have some texture to it, I'm going to use this. I'm going to roll out on this. Let's see how this is compared in size. So I'm going to have it pretty close to that size. Alright, first I'm going to color this buttercream. And I'm going to put some gloves on because it can be messy and I don't want food coloring all over my hands and have to worry about it transferring onto something else. This is rolled buttercream. I love rolled buttercream. It is delicious. It is so nice to work with. It is a lot tastier than fondant. That's for sure. And this is the color Espresso from AmeriColor. And I'm just going to knead this. This has been in the freezer, so I might have to add some powdered sugar to it. What?
You making a video?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's okay. That's pretty evenly distributed in there, but I think I want it a little bit darker. Actually, I might just do 2. And I'm going to get the powdered sugar out because adding in that extra coloring. And, you know, for the true sponsor of cookie decorating, let's take a moment to thank Monster Energy. I'm kidding. They're not sponsoring this video, but Monster, if you're listening, please do, because this is sometimes the only thing that keeps me going. Please sponsor me. I mean, seriously, those orange sunrise energy drinks are like my coffee every morning. I just have to get one to get going. If not, I just don't feel right. Hopefully, through this video and my other videos, it has inspired you to preheat your own oven and make something creative or yummy, whatever you choose to make. If so, please consider subscribing, and that way you won't miss out on the future Nutcracker videos. they've got some great stuff in them. Press it down like that. And put this one over the top. I'm just going to roll it just slightly, just so it'll stick. And then I'm going to, well, for one, I'm going to take this paper out. And I'm going to flip this over. I feel like that will help me get a better impression from that stencil. You guys get it?
Yeah. Busted her thumb open.
Oh, dang
At
it.
least it was on football and not the chainsaw.
Yeah, that's true.
Look, I have a ladybug on my shirt.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Water's running in there.
Huh?
Water's
I
running
know
in
it
there.
is.
Are you okay with that? I know.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What?
Nothing.
So we texturized the back of this rolled buttercream with the stencil that I have over the top, but I'm afraid once we preserve it that some of that texture is going to be lost. So I'm just going to dab on some white and taupe colored food coloring gel over that stencil so that it will kind of help show our design a little bit more. Now we're just going to get our buttercream attached onto our cookie. I just pulled this out of the freezer again. This is a note I want to make that this rolled buttercream does soften up pretty quickly because it is primarily made of butter. So between all of these steps in this video, I am putting it back on the cookie sheet and freezing it quite a bit throughout this video. I've went through and deleted a lot of clips because this video was like an hour and a half long, which was ridiculous. So I'm kind of narrowing it down, but I just want you to be aware of that you will need to most likely freeze your buttercream in between steps because it will soften up a lot. Now I'm just prepping the back of this huge sugar cookie with some royal icing, and I'm just putting, you know, quite a bit on there, but not globs of it. And then I'm going to spread it out. You want to make sure you get this to the edge, but when you put your buttercream on, you don't want it to like squeeze out from the edges, or else you're going to have a lot to clean up. But you do want it to the edge so that your buttercream has a good seal all the way across it. You want a nice, thin, even layer. And since this is such a huge cookie, I decided it was going to be a lot easier to flip it over onto my rolled buttercream than it would be to lift up this sheet of rolled buttercream and plop it over onto my cookie and get it lined up just right. So I'm going to place it face down onto this rolled buttercream, and then I'll just take my little pizza cutter tool around the edges and clean them up, make sure they're nice and even and straight and lined up all together. Okay, this is the part I'm really excited to show you, and we are going to start making our boards for our picture frame display for our cookie. So I'm just trying to make sure that I have enough rolled buttercream rolled out here to cover all of my boards for the frame. And I didn't quite have enough, so I ended up having to take one of the rollers off the end of my rolling pin and changed it to 1/16 of an inch thick instead of the 1/8 of an inch thick, which actually worked out just fine for this. And I think that if you are going to do a project like this and preserve your cookie and it's something just for decoration, just for fun, a 1/16 of an inch works just fine. It is enough coverage that it's going to appear just fine. I wanted to show you here how I angled these corners of my frame, and I ended up just laying my cookies on top of each other at a 90-degree angle, and then using my ruler to create a line to cut against that was at a 90 degrees, and created these mitered corners for my picture frame. So I've got all of my pieces cut. The thing is once you get two pieces cut correctly, then you can just lay it on top of your other pieces and make the same cuts. I put the backside against the frosting because I thought it would make it just appear more flat. If I did this again, I would use the front side of the cookie, which is slightly domed up against the buttercream, because I think the flat side would set better against the back part of the picture. And I wouldn't have to fiddle with that as much, and you will see that in the next video. So now I've cut out all of my icing around my cookies with the pizza cutter, and I'm just going to start looking at each one of these pieces or my boards for my frame and just making sure the sides are cleaned up really well. I'll put it down on the frame and make sure all the pieces fit together just how I want it, and shave or trim up any edges or the back of it right now while everything is soft. Then I'm going to let these sit on the counter, and I let these sit out on the counter with good airflow around them. I didn't have a fan on them or anything, but it was in an open area. And I let them set out for about 6 hours maybe. You definitely want it to where your buttercream is crusted over, dry to the touch. Sometimes the buttercream will sweat like the oils out of it. So you don't want it to be oily on top or anything. If that happens, you can just take a paper towel and dab it off or put a fan on it and it will dissipate. So you want it to be dry to the touch. The buttercream will not get hard like royal icing, but it will be firm and completely dry. That's what you want before you start painting. Now the fun part, we get to start painting our frame. I love using this technique to make a wood type appearance, and this rolled buttercream stays just soft enough that you can kind of work your brush a little bit to distress it so it has some markings in it like wood. So I just put various colors of brown on my paper plate and have a couple of brushes, and I'll kind of do a dry brush technique where I dip a brush in the paint just a little bit and brush the excess off on the paper plate, and then lightly fan brush it over the buttercream. If your color is too streaky and making like just lines, you can soften that up a little bit. Just dip your brush in some water. I would blot it off on a paper towel or something and then lightly fan over your buttercream with that brush. But I really liked how I used the brush and caused a little distressing. Like every once in a while I just kind of dipped into that buttercream just enough to cause a groove in it or some little imperfections. So it actually does look like wood.